Oh, this is major. It's like the next big thing. Come catch the wave, yeah. Yeah, watch what's happening. A force of nature. Hit 'em like lightning. Be the creator of the next big thing. We're the movers and shakers. We are the dreamers, the makers. We stand on top of equators. We are the limitless. Got the future, no papers. We are the innovators. We have the focus like lasers. You know we doing it big. Oh, this is major. Yeah, here we come. Are you a game changer? Rule breaker, dream maker. Show 'em how it's done.
This is major.
Please welcome Michael Dell.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Dell Technologies World. Thank you for joining this extraordinary community of innovators, dreamers, builders, and leaders. Together, we are driving one of the most important transformations in history. Abundant intelligence is here. It's not coming, it's here right now. Intelligence is becoming infrastructure. And just as electricity transformed the world when it left the power plant, AI will transform the world when it leaves the screen. We are making intelligence real, local, secure, and useful on the oil rig, in the ambulance, and on the factory floor. Dell Technologies is building the distributed infrastructure that turns isolated insights into intelligence in action. And we are opening the door to a new era of progress across every field of human endeavor. The models are smarter than all of us, and they're improving exponentially. Since ChatGPT was launched in 2022, we've gone from a chatbot that could write a decent essay to self-improving AI agents that write code, they run workflows, and they operate around the clock. Coding is now AI native. You describe it, verify it, and ship it. And the barrier between imagination and execution is collapsing. And this is unlocking human creativity on a scale we have never seen before. For organizations, AI is no longer a feature. It's becoming the operating model for the modern enterprise. And that is where we are going to spend our time together this morning, on a journey through the modern enterprise. All right, so here we are in Austin, Texas, in our boardroom, where modern enterprises begin with a conversation and a commitment and a vision for what comes next. It's where we learn about each of you, about your journey, your opportunities, from healthcare to manufacturing to finance to agriculture, from small businesses to large enterprises and governments around the world. This is my all-time favorite visual. I use it every year, and I'm just wondering, can we make it just a little bit bigger? There we go. You know, this is what I am most proud of. It's the trust that you place in all of us that we take so seriously, and the relationships that we've been able to build and the work that we're able to do together. It's incredibly meaningful. This is where trust begins and where partnerships start to reinvent industries. AI becomes real when it shortens the distance between discovery and impact. And when you're at the frontier of modern pharma, the stakes could not be higher. So now let's look at Eli Lilly, where science becomes life-saving medicine. Please welcome Diogo Rau. Diogo, great to have you here. Thanks for being here. And look, I mean, Lilly has an incredible history and story of remarkable scale and impact in the world in medicine over many generations. And you've been at the center of sort of bringing this super important company into the modern age of with the latest technology. Tell us a little bit about how technology is shaping Eli Lilly today and what that looks like.
Well, fantastic. And what a journey it has been, because Lilly actually just celebrated a birthday party on Thursday last week. We turned
Happy
150.
birthday.
Thank you. I really don't feel like a day over 140 years old. But Lilly is not a tech company at our core. We were started by a colonel from the Civil War in the United States who saw people needlessly dying on the battlefield, not getting medicines that they need, and worse, actually getting sham medicines. And he had this crazy idea that why don't we actually go use the scientific method, figure out what medicines actually work, and then figure out how to make them at large volumes. So from the beginning, Lilly was always a company about scale. So in 1923, when insulin was discovered, we had a breakthrough medicine that could save so many lives, but nobody could figure out how to make it at volume. That's where Lilly came in. Or actually penicillin, 1928 is when it was discovered. We needed it for World War II when people were dying on the battlefield. US had ramped up supply. By 1942, 14 years after penicillin was discovered, guess how many patients the United States could treat with its supply?
I don't know.
Anything? 10.
Oh, no.
Not 10,000.
That doesn't sound good.
Million. No, it doesn't. So the United States government, it's definitely not good. The United States government called Lilly and said, hey, can you do that thing you did with insulin? Can you do that again with penicillin? And that same thing happened again with the Salk polio vaccine. It happened again with the first COVID antibody. It's happening again today with GLP-1s, because medicine isn't just about discovering something new. It only works if you get it out in mass numbers to help the people that they need. The only way you ever get scale in medicine is to actually have technology underneath it all. And so that's why we have always been huge technology adopters at Lilly, early and big. We were one of the first to adopt the IBM mainframe back when it took up a space probably like this size to run. We were one of the first adopters, actually we were the first commercial adopter of the Cray 2 supercomputer. And this year in February, we went online with the pharmaceutical industry's largest supercomputer. We've always gone early and we've always gone big, because technology is how you get that scale for medicines.
And give us a sense for what the impact is. How AI is making a difference today in Lilly.
Sure. Well, it makes a difference across the board, of course, because I think if we took it away from people, they would quit right now, right? Nobody wants to go back to the pre-AI days. But one of the exciting places, I think, is in manufacturing. We probably don't talk enough about what happens in the world of manufacturing.
To be able to scale up all these medicines.
Exactly, to get that scale of medicines again. And one of the things that's really cool I like is, when the medicines come down the filling line, they're like a social media influencer getting glamour shots the whole way from all kinds of different angles. It's about like 70 different photographs with budgets of milliseconds to detect defects. It's something that's super cool. Or actually
the optical inspection
exactly.
to ensure quality.
Because we used to have humans do that. And guess what?
Right.
Humans mess up. Like these machines, they don't. And so it's amazing what you can do. Digital twins. I mean, how long have we been talking about digital twins? That's been like forever. Now we are actually really doing it. We've taken processes that humans have said are completely fully optimized. And what we've done is we've replicated the machines that are in there as digital twins, moved them around. And guess what? The AI beat the humans. It's not completely optimized. So manufacturing is just a fascinating world. But the thing about it is we're so dependent on technology now that it just can't go down. That's the difference about this technology revolution from anything that we've ever seen before. And that's why we've been very happy about our partnership with Dell, because when we open a new site, we don't have to go out and figure out what we need to do. We've already got a plan together. We already have the architecture. We already have the stack. Everything's been validated, and it just works.
It's copy exact.
Exactly.
So that's the operations side. what about drug discovery and research and accelerating, really the plot of Eli Lilly at its core?
I love the challenges in research and discovery because that's another kind of scale challenge, just like we have never seen before. I mean, I think when we think of labs, and if you're not in this world, you picture people running around in white lab coats with notebooks, taking notes, and maybe looking through a microscope. No, today a modern lab, it's all technology in there, and every single one of those things is connected. Scientists aren't looking at some fuzzy image and trying to make something out. No, they've got 4K resolution, 120 frames per second of whatever they're taking. Everything in that lab is just showering us with data, petabytes of data as it goes. And it's fascinating, it's overwhelming, but at the same time, that's the data that we need to use to power AI. That's the whole reason we have such high performance compute needs.
And what happens in a couple of years when you get orders of magnitude more computing power to the research and drug discovery at Eli Lilly? I mean, how do you think about the effect of that on cancer and other sort of challenges that exist in the world?
I love that because we're already there. We're solving problems that that we weren't thinking about 10 years ago. The problems of 10 years ago are just frankly boring today. So everybody knows about AlphaFold, right? Super cool. You figure out genes and you figure out what protein would come out and what shape that makes. Well, you know what? That's boring. Nobody really cares about that now. It's like, who cares what the protein looks like? What is it going to do for me? That's what you need to know. Like, okay, so you've got a protein now. How's it going to interact with another protein? They're all moving rapidly in time and space, orbiting each other, bumping into other molecules. That's how we're actually modeling things that are much more advanced. Or and by the way, that's actually, back to cancer and things like that, that's actually how you build something that's so selective it can only attach to one class of cell. And if you can do that, you can drop off a payload, chemical or nuclear, actually, or other things like that, to kill a very specific cell. That's the kind of stuff we never could do before. It's just an absolute breakthrough with what we have in technology now.
So another example where we live in the most incredible times, and RNA vaccines, gene editing, all these things are incredible. So tell us a little bit about how Dell is supporting all these efforts and sort of what it means to be able to have the technology to power this.
Well, all the scale, everything I've been talking about only happens with technology, and all that scale is actually what we are getting from Dell. We are so proud of our AI supercomputer that we have running.
You said 1,000 GPUs?
1,016, yep.
Okay.
The newest generation. By the way, if you haven't seen one of these things, it's crazy. They're like, it's 105, 110 decibels. I clocked the wind speed coming off the fans at 30 miles an hour. It's like you're in a hurricane.
We're trying to make them quieter.
Okay, well, they're amazing. But no, the Dell infrastructure underneath is actually what's powering all of that. But I want to make it clear, because it's not actually about the hardware. What we did first is we tried this out in a couple of smaller versions, and Dell was there with us as we were learning. We weren't just learning about how to set up the hardware. Dell was actually helping us with the whole management process, and what we really benefited from was not the models that we trained, but actually the training we got from you. And so I really would love to say thank you to you and to all of the Dell team members, because that's actually what helped us get the skills that we need to be able to build the supercomputer that we have today. And that's how we're going to make the kinds of breakthrough discoveries that we've been talking about. Because you know what? In 150 years from now, we're going to have new things that we can't. We're going to have breakthroughs that we couldn't possibly imagine. I think we're on the verge of maybe being able to end disease as we know it. I mean, something like that was completely unimaginable 20 years ago, but today we can imagine it. And I think it's what you said at the beginning. Now the challenge is, how do we shorten that distance between the discovery, the imagination, and the execution?
Diogo, amazing. Thank you for a life-changing partnership and capabilities that we're really privileged to be a part of. We're inspired by everything that you and Eli Lilly are doing with technology. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. More from healthcare soon. So thank you, Diogo. What you just saw is not a chatbot. It is intelligence in the physical world. It's a faster path from science to medicine. And now every organization faces the same challenge. How do you turn intelligence into impact at speed? And I hear it from the CIOs, the CTOs, engineers, operators, CEOs, and boards. It's coming from the top down. I can tell you it certainly is at Dell. I see you, Jeff Clark. That's because we understand how AI native companies work, how they operate, what they look like, and what they're truly capable of. This is an existential moment. The companies that redesign their work around AI are going to compound advantages faster than at any time in history. And every leader in this room feels that pressure right now. It's exciting. It's exhilarating. It's sometimes exhausting, but it's also unavoidable. And I want you to know that you're not alone. We are by your side with the expertise, the global supply chain, and the execution to deliver when it matters. The supply chain is modernizing too, and some of our most important partners and suppliers also are our most important customers. For our next modern enterprise, let's look at the intelligence behind something we all rely on pretty much every single day: modern semiconductor manufacturing.
Samsung, a leading integrated device manufacturer, offers AI solutions that span memory, logic design, foundry, and advanced packaging. As AI adoption accelerates, semiconductors are no longer just components. They are the foundation of global innovation. It's driving one of the most ambitious transformations in our history, turning our global manufacturing network into AI-driven factories. AI is now deeply embedded across design, engineering, and production. Using digital twins, real-time analytics, and AI agents to predict potential risks and to improve operational precision, yield, and quality. All these demands call for a powerful and reliable enterprise infrastructure to accelerate Samsung's transition from automation to advanced autonomy. That's where Dell Technologies plays a critical role. Dell solutions are applied across our IT and manufacturing infrastructure, from R&D chip design to production critical systems. They are increasingly deployed in AI-driven fab environment and automation, enabling fast and reliable access to vast quantities of data. Our partnership with Dell has grown over many years, and that continuity matters. When you are building AI factories, infrastructure decisions matter, and Dell can support both today's manufacturing demands and tomorrow's innovation. Together, Samsung and Dell are leading the way in AI-powered global manufacturing innovation. We are building the future today.
You know, in companies like Samsung and across every industry, AI is accelerating from proof of concept into production. And it's flipping the traditional buy versus build equation. For years, the trend was off-the-shelf software and public cloud. But now, AI is collapsing the cost and time to express your competitive advantage through software. And so guess what? There's going to be way more software everywhere. A recent Dell Technologies survey on AI adoption shows that 67% of AI workloads already run outside the cloud, either on-prem, on device, at the edge, or in a colo, and 88% of respondents are running at least one AI workload on-prem. CIOs are aggressively pivoting to hybrid AI. The risk is not the cloud. The risk is losing control of your data, your cost, your security, your intellectual property, and your speed. In the agent era, lock-in does more than slow innovation. It actually limits what your company can become. Now, soon every company will deploy fleets of agents, composing workflows on infrastructure that they control. It's estimated that the worldwide AI infrastructure spending could hit $3 to $4 trillion by 2030. AI is fueling a renaissance in enterprise hardware, a shift from bits back to atoms. The question is, how do you deploy the world's best models where you need them with security and governance built in? We give you model choice without infrastructure chaos. You get the open models, the frontier models, the specialized models, running where your data lives. Available starting today in the Dell Enterprise Hub on Hugging Face, representing major architectural leaps across the AI ecosystem, new models are available, including Minimax M2.7, DeepSeek Pro, DeepSeek V4, GLM 5.1, and Kimi K 2.6. These join the Gemma 4 family of models, the NVIDIA Nemotron Super 3 series, the RC Trinity Large Thinking, and Mistral Small. In addition, ServiceNow customers will be able to leverage the Dell AI Factory to operationalize their AI-focused business outcomes. And we have some very big news. You'll be able to bring the latest frontier models to your enterprise data on the Dell AI Factory. Google and Dell are bringing the Google Distributed Cloud with the Gemini 3 models on-prem with the PowerEdge XE9780 servers. You can run advanced AI workloads in a confidential computing environment using the new Gemini models. And OpenAI and Dell Technologies are building a solution based on OpenAI's Codex to bring their latest agentic harness on-prem with the context provided by our Dell AI data platform using a set of connectors and skills. You can securely connect to the latest GPT 5.5 and GPT Codex models. And SpaceX AI and Dell Technologies are delivering Grok's advanced reasoning and multimodal capabilities as secure enterprise-grade AI assistants deployable on-prem or in a hybrid approach. Palantir's Foundry AI platform are also coming on-prem with Ontology, deployed on our ObjectScale and PowerFlex platforms. You can connect all your data sources and optimize operations with the full weight of AI connected within the boundaries of your own environment. And Reflection's open source frontier AI models are now coming to the Dell AI Factory. Regulated industries, including governments and sovereign entities, can deploy AI in a fully controlled environment. Look, every nation is waking up to a new reality. AI capacity is a strategic asset, like energy, communications, and secure supply chains. And we're delivering the secure, air-gapped, nation-scale AI infrastructure without lock-in and without forcing your data into somebody else's black box. AI can become the most concentrating technology in history, or it can become the most democratizing technology in history. We are choosing democratizing. Powerful AI, wherever it's needed, open, secure, and yours. This is hybrid AI. It's not a compromise. It's a competitive advantage running on your Dell AI Factory. Now, how big is the demand for intelligence? It may very well be the largest market that's ever created. By 2030, estimates are that token consumption will explode, increasing by 3,400%. And as organizations scale their AI workloads, there's a new economic reality. Cost curves, compute demands, and data movement patterns are all being rewritten. AI is not just changing technology, it's changing the economics of technology in favor of enterprise infrastructure. And now is the time to decide how you can most cost-effectively generate the tokens that you're going to need for the long term. We now have 5,000 customers running their Dell AI workloads, AI workloads on Dell AI Factory, turning their AI ambition into scale production, from data to tokens to outcomes. Customers turn to Dell Technologies for the design and innovation, the engineering, the supply chain, the services, the support, and the financing, all working together. Time to first token is incredibly important with investments of this scale. And we can deliver hundreds of AI racks a week to a given customer, up and running in hours, generating outcomes immediately. Now, manufacturing, particularly advanced manufacturing, is where AI stops being theoretical, and it has to work with super complex and precise machines, sensors, supply chains, safety systems, and make real-time decisions. Join me in a visit to modern industrial innovation. Please join me in welcoming Suresh Venkatarayalu. Sorry about that. Suresh Venkatarayalu of Honeywell. Suresh. Suresh, so great to have you here. You know, when some people think of Honeywell, they may think of the Honeywell from the past, but we know Honeywell is a different company today, modernizing and, you know, far beyond the roots in industrial controls. Tell us a little bit about what the modern Honeywell is today.
Sure, Michael. Before that, thrilled to be here. This is my first ever, and then being with you right on stage. Fantastic to be here. Honeywell, another 140-year-old company, and one of the most important transformation we're going through at this point in time. We are positioning 3 independent companies. Advanced Materials, we've already spun them off, which is called Solstice. We have coming up with Aerospace, and then new Honeywell company, which is going to be a pure play automation company. And then what do? It's a control system company which runs industrial oil and refineries, commercial building, utilities, data center. We do the best, connecting to the install base, assets, controls, platform. That's what we do, optimizing and building application all along 140 years of automation. Few things that's happening right now, and why I'm so excited about the future Honeywell, is the customers are looking for improving their throughput much bigger and better. Not only that, their systems are fragmented, siloed systems all over the place. What the current technology, exploration and innovation is going to, there's an opportunity. So we have come back and built this whole Forge as a platform to integrate their entire backbone to optimize their operation. So the future about automation to autonomy is going to be so real, and I see the possibilities for us to really serve them better.
And we've been working together for decades, and we've been honored to be a part of your systems. And now, tell us about Forge and what capabilities that's going to bring to customers. What is it going to enable? How are they actually going to see it in their environment, be meaningful, and impact them?
Michael, I'm going to be breaking down into 2 chapters. Chapter 1, 2016 to 2024, I would say. We built Forge like any IoT platform, connecting to our install base, improving the visibility of our operation assets, and we built enterprise SaaS-based software application. I think we brought in a lot of improvisation in terms of service upgrades, software upgrades, and we brought in what they call visibility and transforming their operation. Chapter 2, for the last 18 months, we said, it's time that we actually not only have a connectivity tissue to the operation, but you have to contextualize and understand assets, processes, systems much better. I think with an advent of all the foundational models and AI at scale at this point in time, we are venturing into what we call a chapter 2, which is all about you connect to your operation, you have to contextualize process, data, and system, and then if you're able to simulate and emulate, you have a better prospect in optimizing the operation. So we believe that time has come in to drive something at scale. Let me give one example that will give you a context. We work with a number of customers across the board. Let me take an oil and gas customer in Middle East. We have done for the last 10 years, having our Forge platform connecting to their assets, we would predict their uptime, downtime. Any downtime for an oil and gas refinery means impact to their throughput and yield. We've done a lot more work right there, but we believe that there's a second phase, which is all about contextualizing all types of assets. There are close to 100+ asset types. Your ability to contextualize asset characteristics in terms of ontology, and then taking their process units and contextualizing them. Can you predict the yield? Can you predict the throughput? Assume that if you have a feedstock variability, can you predict what those outputs would be? That's pretty much what we are venturing at this point in time, Michael.
You know, it's in a way analogous to the entire sort of AI macro theme that's going on, in the sense that in the past, all these things were individual silos.
That's right.
But now you're bringing them all together with data and intelligence and helping drive yield and safety and better outcomes. And how is Dell engaged in this? And give us a sense for how we can help in making all this real.
There are two things. I think we partnered with you and NVIDIA in the last year or so. We said there are two things that's required. One, you got to extend your intelligence beyond cloud and smart edge. You got to extend it across your enterprise network. So we actually believe that introducing this concept called a physical AI server at each site level, you have an ability to really balance out your intelligence workload across the board, because the decision making for any autonomous future, latency matters, data transaction matters. So we started creating this concept called Forge Cognition with Dell and NVIDIA, and I think we're happy to say we are piloting at this juncture, getting great results at this point in time. For me, partnering with Dell and NVIDIA is not just about getting an infrastructure, high compute services, but this whole AI stack, which is a combination for me, is right from an ontology, simulation, getting this entire models, as you talked about, there is a proliferation of models, and then getting an agentic AI platform that you could run at scale, secured, and ability where our customers can trust. I actually believe that we are going to bring in this whole industrial AI at scale that is so essential to transform whatever we're talking about, which is automation to autonomy.
Awesome. So customers are going to feel something very different. Sort of give us a vision of 5-10 years from now. What is this likely to look like for one of your customers?
The first thing that I would actually say is autonomy for us means it's not about taking human beings off. We still believe there are untapped potential in every operation we touch. I'm sure there's a pressure from our customer side. Improve throughput, help us to expand the margin. So we believe that the new age of AI, industrial AI, is going to help the workers perform their tasks much better. The assets to extend their life cycle to their peak performances. The operation processes, we expect that to actually be expanded. So I think we have brought in a category at this juncture where we believe it's no more connected intelligent systems or operation. It's going to be a self-learning and evolving operations of the future, which we believe that we have an opportunity to co-create along with Dell and rest of the partners moving forward in the world of industrial side, utility side, and the commercial building side. And we are extremely happy and thankful for everything that you all have done. I'm sure I said this in the past, that Dell had helped us to really deploy our control systems for the last 20 to 25 years, Experion, EBI, and Niagara, which we call a Wintel strategy. And then now you bring in a GPU accelerated and extend this across the value chain. I think we're going to create something interesting for the world.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Suresh.
Michael, thank you so much.
It's a great, you know, it's really a great honor, privilege for us to be part of the solution that you're delivering to so many important customers and activities around the world. Thank you.
Happy to partner. Thank you.
So, you know, not long ago, AI meant assistants that could write faster and summarize better and answer questions. But, you know, that was sort of the age of 20% and 30% productivity gains. It was valuable and kind of amazing, but really only the beginning. Now we're deploying agentic AI, autonomous agents that plan and reason and execute and adapt and close the loop. And agents are not something you just simply bolt on to your legacy systems. That's not going to get the optimal results. They are digital workers. They have memory and credentials and access and the ability to take action. And this requires a new architecture for work itself. Trusted data and governed action and infrastructure close enough to be able to make real-time decisions. The old systems and processes and the pace of decision-making from the past are no longer enough. And it is time to completely rethink and reimagine your company's workflows for agentic automation and for recursive self-improvement. And that is going to lead us to gains of 20 and 30 times in terms of productivity improvement. So who gets there first will rapidly distance themselves from all the rest. And the companies that do not become agentic AI-driven businesses, I think they'll struggle to survive. There is a massive AI investment boom that's already underway, and a productivity boom is beginning. And in some companies, including ours, see you, David, it already has. The rate of change has gone parabolic, and it's not slowing down. This creates monumental opportunities, and it also creates new responsibilities. The agents have credentials. They have access and autonomy. Security must expand beyond the human users to also govern the non-human workers operating at machine speed. If a bad actor can influence an agent, or if an agent is trained on bad data, the blast radius is no longer contained to just a single system. It can propagate across all of your workflows and your infrastructure and, in fact, the business itself. This is already changing the boardroom conversation. It's not just, are you secure, but do you understand what your systems are doing on your behalf? You can't protect what you can't see, and you can't manage. So we give you visibility and control no matter how fast these threats are evolving. Zero trust principles keep you adaptive and resilient and are built in from the endpoint to the core. Speaking of the endpoint, you can see this into the deepest layers of the PC with our Dell Trusted Device Platform. You can store the key credentials, in fact, the keys to the kingdom, if you will, in Control Vault, so that only authorized identities, whether they're human or machine, have access to your systems. Agentic AI is only as good as the data that it can trust, access, and act on. And if your data is siloed, your agents are blind. They can't deliver the value that you expect. Everyone has access to the same models. The differentiator is your data, the unique, proprietary, hard-won knowledge inside your business. The agents are hungry for your data. Now imagine tens of thousands of them, going to millions of them, running 24/7, thousands of times faster than any person. The Dell AI data platform with NVIDIA has been engineered to address the data bottleneck. Within the platform, The data orchestration engine is the intelligent control center that turns that raw, fragmented data into production-ready AI. You can transform and query your data with NVIDIA's close to now 1,000 models and Q2X libraries integrated natively. And you get 12 times faster vector indexing, 6 times faster data querying, and 19 times faster time to first token. And we keep pushing the limits of what's possible. Today, we're super excited to announce that we're working with Starburst to enhance the analytics engine with NVIDIA with their Vera CPUs for 3 times faster SQL, and with Blackwell GPUs for 6 times faster SQL. Leading institutions like Bank of America, who already have a partnership with Starburst, NVIDIA and Dell Technologies, are going to be able to use these new capabilities to support AI-driven analytics while meeting their important governance, regulatory, and resiliency requirements. And for extreme scale AI and high-performance computing environments, we're introducing Dell Exascale Storage, a unified rack architecture supporting PowerScale, ObjectScale, PowerFlex, and the Lightning File System. Exascale is a 4-in-1 storage platform built to deliver up to 6 terabytes of throughput per second per rack. Now, we all know that AI devours data, and our family of unstructured data solutions, including PowerScale, ObjectScale, and the Lightning File System, the fastest in the world, are being deployed extensively by thousands of customers around the world, including some of the AI native companies like CoreWeave and Nscale, Iron, FluidStack, Boostron, and many others, and many other leading firms that demand incredible performance like McLaren Racing, Hudson River Trading, Quadrature, 2 Sigma, Optiver, and many, many more. Now, of course, all that data needs to travel at blinding speeds. And so AI factories need AI-grade networks. The new PowerSwitch Spectrum 6 gives you the massive scale, speed, and efficiency and reliability required for AI. And we've added the NVIDIA Quantum-X 800 liquid-cooled with co-packaged optics also to our networking solution. Now, all that storage and networking feeds the beast of accelerated computing. The PowerEdge XE9812, built on NVIDIA's Vera Rubin NVL72, delivers 10 times lower cost per token than Blackwell for massive scale agentic AI inferencing. And the new lineup of PowerEdge XE servers built with NVIDIA HGX Rubin NVL8 are an industry leader, supporting up to 144 GPUs per rack with 100% direct liquid-cooled compute nodes, 5.5 times more powerful than the previous B200 GPUs. And to bring it all together, we're excited to announce Dell PowerRack, a turnkey rack solution where the AI compute, the networking, and the storage are all engineered together, designed, tested, validated, and delivered as one system. With PowerRack, you can deploy a fully integrated system where the thermal design, the power management, and all the software have been engineered and tested to work perfectly as one. Now, one reality we're all facing is that AI is energy intensive. Even though the amount of energy used per token is decreasing quite rapidly, a single rack of NVIDIA Rubin GPUs can draw over 130 kilowatts. And as the industry builds hundreds of thousands of these racks, the pressure on the power grid is real. And we are committed to being a part of the ongoing solution. Our PowerCool heat exchanger delivers up to 60% reduction in cooling energy consumption and cuts the annual energy costs by 1/3. And our PowerCool CDU is capable of cooling Vera Rubin NVL72 It delivers more than 220 kilowatts of cooling capacity. We design for performance per watt so you can deploy more AI within your existing footprint. Now, of course, the most efficient token is the one that is generated closest to where your data is. So we're expanding the Dell AI Factory with NVIDIA to accelerate agentic AI in the enterprise. We're announcing Dell Desk-Side Agentic AI, which brings together the highest performance Dell Pro Precision workstations, NVIDIA NeMo Claw, and Dell services. You can test, build, and fine-tune agents locally while running the latest open weight models in the 70 billion to 250 billion parameter range, up to 1 trillion parameters. And you can do it without unpredictable cloud costs, bandwidth costs, or risks of IP leak. This is unmetered intelligence, and you can break even versus public cloud APIs in as little as 3 months. NVIDIA OpenShell is also now supported across the entire Dell AI Factory, giving developers a sandbox to secure and fine-tune their AI agents from workstations to servers. And Dell Technologies support for NVIDIA AIQ 2.0 blueprints gives you a tested foundation to deploy multi-agent workflows. We're providing a consistent path to accelerate the move from deployment to pilot to production at scale. From the PC to a full rack of 144 GPUs, to the biggest data center you could imagine in the world, full of those racks, we are engineering the accelerated architectures to work together as one system, agentic and autonomous. The Dell AI Factory with NVIDIA, the backbone and the brain of the modern enterprise. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Now the whole family's here. Now, no company does this alone, and the next era of infrastructure is going to be built by deep partnerships between companies that are advancing accelerated computing and the companies that know how to deploy it across the real world. Please join me in welcoming a great partner and friend, a true leader and visionary of the AI age, NVIDIA's Jensen Huang. Nice to see you. Jensen.
Michael, go!
Thank you, Jensen. Jensen, it's great to have you back here at Dell Tech World. You know, we've been talking about agents. And
I'm here every year selling Dell.
We appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. So give us your perspective on where we are in this agentic, recursive self-improvement world. It looks like every time we wake up, there's been some leap in the model and the capabilities, and sort of it doesn't seem to be plateauing. Give us your perspective from the front lines.
Well, 2 years ago when I was here, we had just started with the generative AI journey.
Right.
Generative AI can, of course, generate content, but remember, it can also generate content to think with, generate thoughts, which led us to reasoning, which led us to planning, which led us to agentic systems. So now we now have, for the very first time, useful AI, which is the reason why your demand, my demand is going parabolic, utterly parabolic. Because, right, it's going parabolic because agentic systems, the AI has to understand, has to reason, has to think, it has to plan, use tools look at the results of the tools, think about it some more, come up with maybe an improved plan. And so it iterates until it can get the job done using a whole bunch of different tools. Well, the amount of computation necessary, because it's running autonomously for so long, instead of just responding to a query, the amount of computation has grown 100x, 1,000x, and depending on the work that you're doing, sometimes we'll kick off a software programming job, it doesn't finish for a week. Of course, it did a week what would have taken a whole team a month to do. And so, big deal in productivity, but gigantic leap in computation requirements. So that, let's just say that computing went up by 100 or 1,000 times. Meanwhile, because it's so useful, the number of people using agents is now all over the place. Every enterprise, our company, your company, everybody's using agents all over the place to do software development, DevOps, SRE, all of our CI/CD work, QA, testing. The amount of software work that we do in the company now supported by agents is incredible. One engineer, a really good engineer today, is working with an agent, but a really great engineer in the future is going to be orchestrating a whole bunch of agents who are going to be orchestrating a whole bunch of sub-agents to do work. Well, between the amount of computation and the amount of demand use going up, the product of that, that's our demand. And so we've now arrived at the era of useful AI, which is really exciting for all of us, because until now, it's been novel, interesting, incredibly exciting, but really at the enterprise level, many of you have said before, last couple of years, the impact of AI is, the potential is incredible, but the actual use was minimal. Now it's taken off.
And we're starting to see now, a couple of years ago we started this, we didn't have 5,000 enterprise customers. Now we have, the biggest companies in the world, like you saw with, Lilly and Samsung and Honeywell, they're piling into this in a big way. But really that's just starting, right? And to reimagine their workflows, to be able to understand, the trajectory of how this is improving and how it can affect ultimately what their companies can become, that really is just an idea. I mean, we haven't seen that in any scale. I mean, there are some companies that are doing it, but it's a very small number today.
No doubt. And well, you're experiencing and I'm experiencing, our company has always gone fast, but it's gone, it's really going fast now. And just the amount of content that's being created internally, the progress that's being made. People said that AI is going to make us more productive. There's no question about that. What took months now takes weeks, what took weeks now takes days, and what takes days now takes hours. And things that would take an hour, you and I pretty much expect it instantly now. And so what has really changed is that our ambition has changed. There's no question my ambition has changed. I wanted to be somebody, to do something, make a contribution, but that was the old Jensen. The new Jensen, I got big ambitions now.
We all have to ask ourselves the question, how high is up? Well, it's pretty high, right?
Yeah.
So we've got all these great products. We're embedding AI in everything and enabling, this distributed inference and intelligence.
This is the best room I've ever been in.
Which is your favorite?
Well, it's hard to, I love all my kids.
How about the one on the end?
You gotta love that one most though, Well, this is incredible. And so Michael and I have been working on a whole new line of computers to run agents. The way to think about agents is this. There's a large language model, it's gigantic, it's the most computationally intensive piece of software the world's ever known. And that would run in that system towards the end. That NVLink 72, the world's largest scale-up single domain computer, okay? It's just one giant system operating as one computer. And that system has a large language model in it. It could, 1 terabyte, 10 terabyte of parameters, no problem. And so that's one giant system, that's the brain. However, an agent starts with the harness. That harness has to sit in a secure and governed container. We call it a sandbox. And so the NVIDIA OpenShell open sourced sandbox is the security system that just about everybody in the industry is using. Inside, we have a reference harness we call NemoCloud. NemoCloud runs on a CPU. And that CPU could be a CPU in there, a CPU in here, a CPU in there.
Yep.
It can also run Nemotron or any of the models, open source models, that you would create your own specialized agents for your own companies, trained for your own special domain of data or skills. And that would run locally, if you like. And then the large language models could run in the cloud. And so you have this hybrid AI. The thing that's really cool is that NVIDIA's architecture is the only architecture in the world that runs every frontier AI model. And lately, recently, in the last year or so, Anthropic has been really leaning into the NVIDIA architecture. So now we support every single frontier model, we support every open source model, and we support them in the cloud or locally. As you can see, our computer is the first one in the world that runs in every cloud, but it also runs locally. And if you have your models that you're quite sensitive about, our systems are built with confidential computing.
Yep.
This way, you don't have to trust the operator that's operating the data center with your secure data. And so all of these architectures now run in every cloud, runs every model, runs hybrid AI, and runs agentic systems. And so you have your harness, it runs on a CPU. The CPU also uses tools. And the CPU we created, I think you mentioned it earlier, called Vera.
Yes.
The CPUs of the past were built for hyperscale clouds. And so you're renting the CPU cores, and so you're optimizing for as many CPU cores as possible. Well, agents in this new world, you're generating tokens. You're not renting CPU cores anymore. You're generating tokens and marketing that. That's the economics of this AI era. And so the AI wants to run its work and generate as many tokens as possible, as quickly as possible, because that's the output of the intelligence. Vera CPU has the highest single-threaded performance of any CPU in the world. It has 3 times the memory bandwidth of the fastest CPU in the world, and as a result, Starburst, DuckDB, all these databases run incredibly fast because the agents are pounding on the databases, so the CPUs better be super fast. The agents want to get through its work, so the CPU's got to be super fast. Otherwise, that big machine down there is waiting for the agent to get its work done. And so now you have the harness running on the systems here, local AI models running on the systems here, and giant models running in the cloud or in your own data center on that big machine down there.
Well, let's go check it out. But as we do that, what's exciting is to think about, in the past, as humans, we would do work, right? And we would pass it on to the next human. But now we have, all these agents that we're managing, right? And, an individual can manage, 1,000, 100 agents. And so the possibilities that unlocks in terms of human creativity and what humans are going to be able to do. And I love this idea of the unmetered intelligence, right? Where you've got the power in your own PC, in your own data center, and you can use it with your own data. That's sort of super cool. That's a thing.
You don't have to struggle with token anxiety.
Yep. Yeah.
You tell your employees.
You don't want to run out of tokens or
right.
get that dreaded bill. But Jensen, since you're here, would you do us the honor of autographing
right.
this latest?
All right. Well, we got to climb up here. I'm not as tall as you are. All right. This is, what's the date today?
18th.
May 18th.
We're not going to sell this one. This one is.
You got to sign it too.
I already signed it.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, you got it right here.
Del.
There we go. There we go. Michael's already signed it right here. And so this is, Michael, this is 100 times larger than this one, the station.
Right.
Exactly the same architecture.
The GB300.
GB300 in here. That's 100 times larger than this one. This is the only computer, desk-side computer in the world that can run a terabyte, a 1 trillion parameter AI model. Okay, so this is incredible.
Would have been unimaginable even a year or two ago.
I know it. 1 trillion I mean, this would basically be a cloud just 2 days ago, you know, and so this is a station, and this is 100 times bigger, so
Yep.
this one, and that's 6 times larger than this one. And this is one of my favorites. This is the
GB10.
smallest GB10.
Right.
Same architecture as that one. It's incredible, right? One architecture.
Incredible.
The
Well,
agentic
Jensen,
future.
we really appreciate you being here. We treasure the incredible partnership with NVIDIA and all we've been able to do for customers around the world, and look forward to
And we
continuing.
grew up together, practically.
Yes, we did. It was
Yeah.
31 years we've been doing this.
Yeah. Thank you. Guys, keep up the great work. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jensen.
Bye, Dell.
Well, thank you, Jensen. You know, his enthusiasm is infectious, and his passion for innovation and his belief in accelerated computing and what that can bring to the power of AI around the world. Now let's look at that power in action. In modern healthcare, intelligence is not measured in tokens. It's measured in time, in accuracy, in compassion, and in lives saved.
Ascension is a Catholic healthcare system. We serve 6 million patients in a given year. We view healthcare as a human right, which means that we provide access to everyone in the community. Our communities trust Ascension to deliver healthcare, and we trust Dell Technologies with keeping our technology up to date. The data that we have in healthcare ranges from medical records to imaging. Those images have to be local so that we can move them quickly within the hospital. That's sitting on Dell equipment.
We have all the medical and surgical offerings that are necessary for patients with cardiac disease. We have all the technology that's necessary to support those medical procedures. We are starting to see the beginning of AI helping even in basic things like chest x-rays, reading certain aspects of cardiac MRI, echocardiograms.
If we think about the Ascension hospitals, we have Dell Children, which is one of the premier children's hospitals in the US. Dr. Frazier and the team there are doing cutting-edge work.
Dell Technologies and the Dell vision is wrapped up in this whole ideal of a Tier 1 children's hospital. Now, the theme tended to be really complicated things, children, adults, that didn't seem to have a clear pathway of treatment.
I was pregnant and we got the news that he had a heart defect, and the doctor felt that the best place for us was at Dell because of their expertise and their ability to do kind of everything.
William Hall is the most extraordinary case. It's almost indescribable, and I've been at this for a long time. Mom finds herself pregnant with a baby who, for reasons that we cannot explain, during fetal life has heart failure. There was great concern that he wouldn't survive gestation. But these are very courageous parents, and they said, if you think you can offer something, we want you to try. An effective donor heart became available. So some of us got on a helicopter and got the heart and brought it back and put it in, and off he went. He became a normal baby. What it translates into is a little boy who's running around, being a little boy. That really is pretty hard to put your arms all around, even if for a pediatric heart surgeon that's been doing this for a long time.
When we look at Dell, we find compatibility in values and also cutting-edge technology.
I mean, this is where the technology meets the needs of mankind every single minute of every single day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chuck Frazier is here with us today, an incredible pediatric cardiac surgeon. Thank you, Dr. Frazier. This is why we do what we do, why we are so passionate about solving your toughest challenges. For too long, the AI conversation has been trapped inside the screen. The real story begins now. AI is moving into hospitals, into factories, into schools, energy grids, laboratories, cities, homes, and yes, even into orbit, solving problems at the scale of humanity. Over the next few days, and in tomorrow's keynote with Jeff and Arthur, and in our technical sessions, our trailblazers, and the solution showcases, we want to inspire you to be bold and to move fast. The road ahead is bright, and it is beautiful, and we will be with you on it every step of the way. Thank you, and enjoy the show.